Okay. Actually, yesterday's class was not on video because I forgot to put in my battery in my camera. So we get today. And yes. Okay. Well, that won't be necessary. If you just pay attention, you'll be able to catch up. Okay. And Noah, did you turn in a notebook to me?
No, I didn't. I got to talk to you.
Okay. Talk to the classroom.
If we do want to look up a YouTube video of these classes, what would we look up?
Well, you look at the last lesson because I put them in form of lessons. Lesson 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm on lesson 16 or 17. Yes.
How would I find the
Well, it's through the St. Joseph YouTube channel. You know better than I. I don't know how to get there. I just put it up. Okay. So you'll have to talk to one of the tech people to find out how to do it. Okay. All I know is up there. I can, if you, this is an easy way to find it though. If you plug in my name, okay, my name, Father Dwight Campbell, okay, and then lesson, you type the word lesson in, they'll all come up. Because I'm the only person on YouTube that has this format, my name, and a lesson.
Do you have a lot of followers?
So, I'm speaking, okay? So I'm YouTubing all these classes for the world to see. And I'm going to say something which may be rather startling to me. Okay? I'm going to write something on the board. And you may write this in your notebooks because it's worth pondering. Okay? Oh my goodness. Boy. These were words, if you Google them, you would get this on YouTube because they're rather famous. I will die in my bed, my successor will die in prison, and his successor will be martyred. Francis Cardinal George the Archbishop of Chicago said these words just a few months ago because he was referring to the culture war that's going on and the growing hatred and persecution of Christians who hold fast to the faith. Now, Francis Cardinal George is 20 years older than I, maybe 21 years or 22 years older than I. Okay? I'm 56, he's 60, he's 77 or 78, I believe. Okay? And Francis Cardinal George says his successor, the next Cardinal Archbishop of Chicago, will, he thinks, die in prison. Okay? And the successor to him will be martyred. Okay? What does that mean for you? That's not a pleasant picture he's painting because by the time his successor's successor comes to office, they may be 20 years from now, some of you, according to Cardinal George's prophecy here, okay, we call it that, okay, may be martyred. Well, I've talked about we're in a culture war, and things aren't getting better for Christians. They're just going to get worse. The Cardinal sees this, and that's why he made the statement, which was rather startling to people, but I think it's true. So, my job, my vocation, my calling here in this class is to inform you about the church's teaching so that you will be better prepared to speak and give witness to the truth. This word here, martyr, means witness. You have to give a witness to the truth. And those to whom the truth is imparted have a greater responsibility to proclaim it. That's why you're in a Catholic school. It is no accident that, say, from all eternity, God planned that you would be here in this class with me, so that I could impart to you the truth about all kinds of things. I say this especially in the topic we've been covering, marriage, because this is really going to be the battleground in the future. The attempt to redefine marriage, and those who hold to marriage, to what marriage is, as instituted by God, are going to be persecuted. They're already being persecuted, and you'll see that more as class goes on. Okay? I'm going to give you some startling examples of this. I mentioned a few yesterday in class, and I will show you more examples of this around the world, but also here in this country. Marriage is such an important part of our society. It's the fundamental cell. It's the building block of society. Okay? Marriage is a society. It's the smallest society. And the larger society is based upon marriage. That's why marriage has to be true and authentic. And that's why we have to know what marriage is in order to defend it and explain it to people who don't know what it is, who want to redefine it and make it into something that it's not. Remember, objective reality, that's what the Catholic teaching on marriage is. People have a perception of what marriage is or should be or what can be, which is not in accord with the truth, objective truth. And that's what we have to study before we go on, because to study the Catholic Church's social doctrine, we begin with society and the beginnings of society, which is the family, which is based upon marriage. So this is muy importante, as we say in Espanol, okay? Very important. It's critically important that you get this, okay? So, and maybe 20 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, you'll remember what I said, because I've told people from the pulpit at my church that because I'm preaching the truth on certain issues, I may end up in jail one day, because some people may not like what I'm saying and call it hate speech or whatever, okay? Because it's not politically correct or not according to what some people vision as their perception of the truth or whatever, okay? So we're missing today, who is it that's missing today? Dina is left. She was here. Okay. Yes, Gary.
Why would you get persecuted if you had freedom of speech?
Because some people aren't going to respect freedom of speech. This is already, yes, but this is already being attacked. We have a national health care law. This is why there's the gridlock in the government, because people disagree and say we don't want this implemented on people because it is going to infringe on our freedom of conscience. They're saying that we have to cooperate with insurance that will give people the opportunity to do abortions. Okay? So this goes against our religious freedom. The government doesn't care, basically. They have their agenda, and those who will be disagreeing with this law, if it's implemented in full, may end up in jail. Okay? They may end up in prison because they're not going to cooperate with it. Okay? They're going to refuse. So even though on paper it's written that, yes, we have these rights, in reality, the force of the state will just ignore this and do what they want. Okay? Yes?
But isn't it just like that person's choice, not like the group of people's choice?
Isn't it what?
Like for the person who's choosing to do abortion or not, isn't it like their
No,
choice?
just a minute. No. I thought, why we thought. Get your notebook out. Start writing there. And I write. I just wrote something on the board. Did you write it on the board? Your question again. I didn't understand what you were asking.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just asking, like, isn't it that person's choice, not the group? Because you're saying like they're preventing like a religious law, but isn't it just that person's choice?
No, the law is forcing all employers, for example, to provide insurance which covers this, even if it goes against their conscience. Hobby Lobby, for example, because the insurance law says you must pay insurance for an abortion pill, they said, we're not doing this. And there are Catholic institutions around the country, Catholic colleges and universities, who provide their employees with health insurance, and they're in court right now saying, we're not going to cooperate because this violates our religious freedom. The government says, we don't care, you do this. So, even if the courts rule against, I can't speak for Hobby Lobby, they're not a Catholic group, they're a Christian group. If the courts rule against the Catholic colleges that are providing insurance, the Catholic colleges are going to say, we're not cooperating, we don't care. And so they will try to enforce the law on them. What will happen? Well, they may end up in jail, they may end up being fined, we're not sure right now, all the repercussions of this. But just because our Constitution says certain things, well, the government is not abiding by that, obviously. And they're enacting laws and policies which conflict with violate our freedom of religion, violate our right to conscience. And Cardinal Dolan has pleaded with the President, and the President says, tough, we're going to do it this way. So that's one of the reasons we have a federal government shutdown right now, because there is a difference of opinion about this. And there are people who are saying, we don't want to cooperate with this law. This is an unjust law. An unjust law is no law at all. A law has to be a rule of right reason in accord with divine reason, in accord with God's laws. Laws which allow abortion are really unjust laws. There are really no laws at all. So, but with back to marriage and the family, that's what we're dealing with. We've been reading over the document from the Archdiocese. Okay? Actually, it's from the whole state of Wisconsin. All the dioceses in Wisconsin published this document, In Perfect Union, Living the Sacrament of Marriage. We were reading over what our bishops are teaching people about what marriage is. Okay? Because marriage, the society of the family, is the core of the larger society. Okay? So, you write that down because that's important. The society of the family, because the family is a society, okay, is the core of larger society. It's the fundamental cell, okay? I mentioned that before, the fundamental cell. Society begins with, the larger society begins with the family. Okay? The family is key. And when we talk about the family, okay, the family is based on marriage. Okay? Based on marriage. This is just a logical progression. Okay? In order to have a correct view of society, you have to have a correct view of marriage, or a correct view of the family, and then to have a correct view of the family, it's based on marriage. And what is marriage? That's what we're dealing with now. Okay? You have to understand what it is. Some people are confused on marriage. A lot of people are confused on marriage. All the surveys show that over 50% of people, including Catholics in this country, think that two people of the same sex should be able to get married. Well, no, they can't. Because marriage, okay, marriage isn't something that we create or configure to our own wants and desires. Okay? And I'm going to talk about what marriage is now, based upon really what we've been looking at the past couple of days. Okay? So, you have to be able to articulate to people out there in the world who don't understand this. When they ask you, why are you against, same-sex marriage or polygamous marriage, like the Mormons practice, okay, like the Muslims practice, okay? Why are you against this? What's your problem? Okay? You're not with it. Well, you have to be able to explain to them, articulate a response. So, marriage, okay? Marriage, okay? Christian marriage, the Christian view of marriage, okay? One, it's a natural institution. Okay? When we say natural, what do we mean? I've been using this term for the past month. What do I mean when I say it's a natural institution? What do you think that means? Thomas, what do you think that means? When you say it's a natural institution, it's part of what? Okay? What I have, what you have, what my dog Max did not have. It's part of what nature? What type of a nature do we have? We don't have a dog nature, we don't have an elephant nature, we don't have a chimpanzee nature, we have all what? Human nature, okay? A natural institution means it's part of human nature, okay? Part of human nature. Part of human nature, okay? That's what it means. Okay? Can we know human nature? Yes. How? By observing it. God gave us an intellect. Okay? So we can know what is proper for human nature. You can figure out what marriage should be using our reason. Okay? We can appeal to people who aren't even Christian. Okay? I'm giving you the Christian view of marriage, but this is something that everyone can understand. Okay? Understand, that's shorthand for it, okay? By using our reason, okay? Using our reason, okay? Our mind, our intellect, okay? We can look at human nature and figure out what marriage should be, okay? And what it shouldn't be, okay? So it's a natural institution, part of human nature, natural because who instituted marriage, Carrie? God instituted marriage, yes. God instituted marriage. It wasn't thought up by someone. Okay? God instituted marriage. Next good question, Michael Romero, even though you weren't here yesterday, you can answer this using your, when did God institute marriage? I'll give you a hint at the beginning. When? With, guess who?
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, yes. God instituted marriage when? At the very beginning of the human race, okay? At the beginning, okay, of the human race, okay? When he created the human race, he instituted marriage. Okay? Adam and Eve, okay? That's when God instituted marriage, okay? Adam and Eve, created them. Okay? And the key language here, okay? Does anyone know it? I said it yesterday. I read it out of the Bible, okay? After God puts Adam to sleep, because Adam could find no one to really communicate with and love, because they were all animals. He named all the animals. So God cast a deep sleep on Adam, took out one of his ribs, raised up a woman. And then the Bible tells us what? After he raised up the woman, Adam said, it's love at first sight. This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And then the Bible says what? Book of Genesis. I read it yesterday. Anyone remember? Okay. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Okay. Genesis 2:24. Which says,
Is this part 2?
this is just Genesis 2:24, okay? A man shall leave his father, okay, and mother, and cleave, okay, to his wife, and the two become one flesh, okay? One flesh or one body. You can use either translation. One flesh, one body, okay? This is marriage, okay? The two becoming one, okay? Who unites them, making them no longer two but one? Who? God unites them, okay? God unites them. God unites, okay? The spouses, okay? They consent to it, but God doesn't. God joins them together, okay? I'm going to tell you something here, as I think most of you are Catholics in the class. Even those who are not, you should know this, but the Catholics especially, okay? To be married validly, you have to get married in the Catholic Church if you're a Catholic. You have to follow the Catholic form of marriage. You can't go off and get married in Las Vegas or the waterfall at Yosemite or whatever, okay? You have to get married in the Catholic Church. Why? Because if you're a Catholic, if you're a baptized Catholic, you have to follow the Catholic form of marriage. Why does the Church want Catholics to get married in the Catholic Church? Because the Church has an interest in marriage, in preparation for people to get married. And if someone attempts to get married outside of the Catholic Church, they're really not married. They're joined in a bond civilly. The civil law recognizes that they're marriage. They'll call them married. The Catholic Church does not. Okay? So remember that. You can't just go off and get married on your own. Just like I'm a priest, I can't go off and before I was a priest and just go off to anyone and say, well, I want to be a priest, have someone lay hands on me and say some words, and boom, I'm a priest. No, I have to do it through the Catholic Church. That's kind of a no-brainer. Well, I've just had 2 people tell me in the past week that they didn't realize that they should get married in the Catholic Church, and they didn't. And I said, well, if you're Catholic, you should have known this. They said, well, I went to Catholic schools, we were never told this. So I'm telling you, okay, you've got to get married in the Catholic Church. If you get married, you can't go off and do it on your own. What the Church will allow in some cases, if someone was marrying a non-Catholic, you can marry a non-Catholic. You can even have a Protestant minister perform the service if there's some good reason, but you have to get the permission of the bishop to do it. You can't just go off and do it yourself. It's a special permission. The bishop has to give that. Okay? And it has to be in a church. What was that? Oh my.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone's, I thought it was my camera there. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was someone's cell phone. I don't know.
I think that was mine.
Okay.
Give it up.
Okay.
I probably should.
Well, as long as you are,
I didn't have it. It was my purse.
okay. So marriage, okay? God doesn't. This is it right at the beginning. A man shall leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, the two become one flesh or one body. Genesis 2:24. This is the foundation of marriage. God institutes marriage with Adam and Eve right here, okay? And it's God that does it. The people have to agree to it. The spouses have to freely enter into it. But it's not something that is brought about without God. God makes them no longer two but one flesh. And well, it's between, marriage is between one man, okay, and one woman. Okay. It's between one man and one woman. And how do we know this? Okay, because, yes, Anna? Yeah, it's point 2. Okay, between one man and one woman. Okay. Between one man and one woman. How do we know this? Because Genesis tells us that Genesis 1:27. God made man. The words are in his own image. Okay. Male and female. Okay. He created them. Okay. So we know that God made the male and female. That's who he joined in marriage. And one man and one woman, why? What is the key word that is in this document, okay, that they use over and over again, that I stressed, remember this word. This is the key word to defend marriage between one man and one woman, okay? What is it between men and women that we're talking about? Why is it only between a man and a woman? Okay, what is it, Michael?
I'm just guessing, is it reproduce?
Well, that's one of the reasons they're able to, but they're able to reproduce because of this reality. complementarity. Okay? That's the key word. Okay? Complementarity. Okay? So, between one man and one woman. Why? Well, first of all, there's physical complementarity. Okay? Physical complementarity. Okay? What are we talking about here? The sexual organs complement one another. Okay? They're complementary, sexual organs. Okay? They're complementarity, and why they're complementary? They're ordered toward what? What is it? Someone raise your hand if you're going to answer yes. To reproduce, yes. Procreation, okay? Procreation. Okay. What does procreation mean? There's pro and then creation. Okay. Procreation. Pro means with. Okay. Procreation means cooperating with God. Okay. Okay. To produce new life. New human life. Okay. Produce or create, okay, new human life. Okay. That's the physical complementarity. It's basic biology. The man and the woman are complementary in their sexual organs. And that is ordered toward procreation, cooperating with God to produce, create new human life. This is how God designed reproduction of the human race. Okay? That physical complementarity is necessary, and it flows from the fact that they're man and woman. Now, besides physical complementarity, there's another side of this too, which we discussed yesterday. It comes right out of the document. Okay. There's another type of complementariness. Does anyone remember what that is? We talked about it yesterday, how men and women are not the same. Okay? They are different. Okay? Besides physical complementarity, there is B, okay? Emotional. Okay? Emotional complementarity. Or you could say say psychological as well, okay? Psychological, emotional, complementary. What does this mean? Well, first of all, men and women, okay, they're equal okay, in dignity, okay, in value. Okay. Why? Why are they equal in dignity and value? This was on the board just a minute ago, because we're all created in the image of God, okay? God made us in the image of God, okay? Image of God. Male and female, we're both of dignity and value because we're made in God's image and likeness, okay? However, okay, they're not the same emotionally and psychologically. They complement one another. And that complementarity adds to the beauty of marriage. It adds to the raising of children. Okay? Two people of the same sex cannot complement one another psychologically and emotionally. Two males, two females. Okay? No. So that complementariness, equal in dignity and value, but we're not the same. Okay? We're different. How are we different? How are male and female different? How are they complementary? What are some of the differences? Let's discuss that. Okay? I'll put men over here. Okay? Males. Okay? Females. Okay? Complementarity means they're not the same. They complement one another. How are males and females? How do they differ? What are some characteristics? Okay.
Well, girls are usually like more emotional, I feel like, or like passion or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Well.
Nurturing.
Okay. You say nurturing. Okay. Nurturing. Okay. Show more affection, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Show affection. And anything over here that would complement that? Well, physically stronger, okay. You say physical strength, okay. Physical strength, okay. The male species is just, they're made differently. Okay? The bone structure is more dense. They have more physical strength. Talking about the average of men and women, okay. Anything else any other differences, especially those who have brothers or sisters, you can compare. What are some of the differences between men and women? Males and females. What's the difference? You look like you had something in your mind. Say it. You don't know.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say it. Okay.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Okay, that's good. Do
Thomas
you have brothers?
No,
No.
I have a sister.
Sister.
I'm an only.
Who has an opposite sex sibling? Okay. Anna, tell me, how are guys different than girls? What's one way that guys are different than girls?
They're more willing to like jump into things.
Okay. Maybe they act before they think. Okay. Well, especially maybe younger guys. I know this as a former prosecutor. Okay. Guys get into trouble. Okay. Young guys get into trouble because they think, oh, this would be cool to do, and they don't think about the consequences. They just think before they act. Okay. Well, that's I would say that's a characteristic of young males. Yes.
Dutiful.
Beautiful.
Dutiful.
Oh, dutiful. Who's
That's the word.
okay? Well, who are you saying is?
Yes, it is. I heard
the word.
Wait. Who are you saying is more dutiful or less dutiful? Are you saying?
They're like the
Pardon me? They're what?
Like that's a word.
No. Just can you explain what do you mean? Dutiful.
Well, they like do the work kind of. Like they
Male.
I thought you said like dutiful.
Oh, that is so
I
wrong word though.
I thought you said like dude, like a dude. Like
No. There is no word dutiful. 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 Right. You said dutiful. Okay. Well, you could say maybe males like to take responsibility. I don't know. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like to assume responsibility?
I think girls do that too.
Yeah,
Been a guy.
you got his sister?
No,
Twin
Jenna's
sisters.
twin sisters.
So how are you and your sister different?
They're not.
They're twins.
Hey, but you're not the same.
I don't have sisters.
They're not apart.
They're in college. I don't know wants them.
Okay.
Yeah, wants them.
Well, let me just share something here that those who have reflected on this truth say, okay, that there's a superiority an emphasis between males and females, okay? Males excel, okay, in the order of reason, okay? Men like to use their minds creating theories and philosophies, things like this, okay? Men like to build things, okay? Design, big skyscrapers, okay? That's what men excel in, okay? Women excel in the order of love. Men the order of reason, women the order of love. Women excel in this. Human emotional relationships, okay?
Sydney Cook and Jeremiah Madden, please report to the main office at the Bell. Sydney Cook, Jeremiah Madden, please report to the main office at the Bell.
Women just excel at this. They're better at. Women are, and a sign of this is women are more communicative, right? More communicative, okay? They communicate better. Communicative, okay? Who talks more, men or women?
Women.
Yeah, I mean, guys call up someone on the phone and they're done and, get the information, that's it. Women want to find out about how you're doing more, okay, how, that more relationship, okay? More interested in the human person, okay? This is just generally speaking, okay? Not that men don't do this, but this is a difference between men and women. This is what makes the complementariness emotional in marriage. Males and females. This helps to balance, they balance each other out. Women can teach men how to be more communicative, how to love more, be more personal, interested in personal relationships, okay? Now,